Well, of course, I saw the final trailer for The Flash. And, well, a lot of it is the footage saw in the previous one, although this one is more Batman-centric. Gee, I wonder why. Look, it was always the case that the big draw would be Michael Keaton's return as Batman. Even before the Ezra Miller scandals, because Ezra Miller was no draw for a movie. And if the movie does well, under normal circumstances, yeah, that would give Ezra a bump. But after all the nastiness, I don't know. But it is a dual role, so the they, them pronouns do apply. There's more than one Flash, So anyway, there's a lot of scenes in it. I, of course, am always more forgiving for cheesy CGI effects, and for the most part, but for a few here and there, I thought it looked fine. There is the battle scene that is obviously going to be between the heroes and the Kryptonians, which does take a scene from Man of Steel, where Superman was handed over to Zod. But they didn't have the battle there. But this time they might have thought better than Superman did in that Man of Steel. Is to go ahead and fight them here in this desert, rather than in the middle of the city that gets devastated. Although the scene of the world smasher, whatever, I forget what it was called, world engine, whatever, that was going to terraform Earth and make it new Krypton. That's well into the battle that leads to the city, I think. But then again, the situations could be very different. But everything looked okay. A lot of people were complaining about Supergirl, but I thought she looked fine for the most part, except for it's this odd, maybe there's an explanation for it in the costume, that the red on her suit doesn't match the emblem of the S, So it's kind of like, I don't know, what happened? But once again, it's a lot of footage that seems to confirm the rumors of things that are to occur in it. Certainly the elements that are taken from the original Flashpoint, where Barry doesn't have powers, so he has to recreate the lightning. There's quite a few scenes of him being electrocuted. So I'm guessing that's what that's about. The rescue of Supergirl from this military base or what have you is, of course, very similar to how Superman was handled in the Flashpoint world. And there just won't be any Aquaman versus Wonder Woman war between the Amazons and the Atlanteans. So it's too bad we miss out on that. We miss out on Jeffrey Dean Morgan being Thomas Wayne Batman. But the draw, again, of course, was always Michael Keaton returning as Batman. And sure, seeing Flashpoint fully adapted for a film would have been cool, but that's only cool for comic book people when the main overall audience doesn't know anything about it, so it wouldn't draw them in. But they do know Michael Keaton's Batman, at least the older ones do, and that idea of him making one more go at it and returning and all that excites the audience and draws them in. So that's the deal, and it's kind of the same. It facilitates the concept of multiverse, but the cinematic versions thereof of DC and so on. And so that's the deal. And then, of course, I'm sure repurposed footage from other films and all that. There's a lot of rumors about cameos. There's also rumors about cameos that were cut. Apparently Grant Gustin was cut. Don't know. Maybe it's just the repurposed footage and that's it. And they just didn't have time to include him, and that's all that was cut. I don't know. Henry Cavill apparently will appear, but not in the cameo that he shot. This will just be repurposed footage and all that, and that's unfortunate. Another rumor late in all of this was that all mentions of the Snyder Cut, meaning that version of Justice League in the battle with Darkseid, has also been removed, which is odd because in the scenes of the trailer, and especially the Japanese version, if you haven't seen that, it has way more footage in it. A lot of interesting stuff there. But there's this scene that looks like it takes place in the same street that Barry had in where he meets Iris for the first time in the Snyder Cut. And, he rescues her, and it's all in slow motion because it was super speed and all that. And so it looks like the same place. And so they, recreated that for this film. And but also what happens in the Snyder Cut is like it's far more detailed on the Flash changing time and realizing what he's capable of doing. Because at the end there, Darkseid had won. The Justice League was wiped out. It was over. So Barry Allen turned back time just a few seconds so he could prevent that from happening. And realizing that, even more so than there was the resurrection scene of Superman that, there's a manipulation of time there. He talks about it, but it's all very brief and quick in the theatrical version. Whereas in the Snyder Cut, it's far more spectacular and what have you, and would be a great setup for his film going forward. And the movie does this for a lot of the characters, especially Batman is a guy to set up there with Deathstroke showing up. But for the Flash, it's this ability to change time, and it's gonna haunt him and realizing I can bring my mommy back, and that's the whole core of the film. So I would have thought a mentioning from that should remain. If I don't see why not, since it's changing everything anyway. But that's the deal. The rumor is that whatever it was Muschietti had originally wanted in there, orders from on high, I guess, took it out. It just would make it a more complete story in that aspect of it, that this is what led to the Flash doing this and all that. But whatever, So a lot of it looks cool. It's a bit the line of "When I get nuts, let's get nuts" was terrible in the original. It's still terrible today. I mean, him saying "I'm Batman," that's good enough. Come on. But it's a lot of it is very Batman centric and a celebration of Michael Keaton Batman in this trailer, which stands to reason, because even more so than it always would have been, that's the big selling point of it, and that's the draw, and that's any kind of excitement you'll get for it will be that. And it's the one DC film at the moment that has a shot for that to make them some serious money. I doubt that it can reach No Way Home territory. Stranger things have happened, but I do think it has great potential to be a profitable film because of the Michael Keaton Batman aspect to it. And also, it's not as hindered as the other DC films by the announcement that none of these films matter anymore because we're going to reboot it all. And this one ostensibly is supposed to be the lead to it. This is the movie that changes everything. Even that's messed up because the Shazam movie, the director explained the reason the Shazam characters look different. It's because they were supposed to follow the Flash. That he'd already changed the universe, so their costumes look different and that kind of thing. Well, I had to change that around, so it's a bit of a mess and scattered. And the latest I'd heard from another video was someone saying that apparently there is another Batman in the movie at the end after the Flash has resolved everything. All the other scenes about Ben Affleck being trapped somewhere, that's all cut out apparently. And this one, he meets this Batman, and it's not his Batman. It's a new Batman, but you don't see him. You don't see his face. He's just from behind. And so I guess it's just the cowl with the ears and a cape, and that's it. Indicating that whoever this Batman is will be their brave and the bold Batman down the road, which they more than likely have not cast yet. But it doesn't matter. You just have a body double in a cape and a mask, and you're good. Shot from behind. And that's all you get. Wow, boy, that's important. But still, it won't be as hindered by the notion that the DCEU is dead. It's a dead end now. And you got to wait till 2025 for the new one to start. So that's all very sad. And a lot of it, I still think is quite unnecessary. But there again, I don't know exactly what their metrics are. And what they saw that their best bet on a tight budget would be to go with all new. So that could very well be the case. And I don't like that reality, but it is a reality, and I can respect it. Anyway, looks interesting, looks cool in a lot of ways, and I will see it. And by all accounts, it's supposed to be pretty good, and we'll see. But still the mess of everything, you know? It's just brings everything down. And then, of course, it's Ezra. Yeah. What if it does hit $1 billion? That means Ezra's going to be the Flash again. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, there you go. The Flash.